everyone! So for today's video, it's just going to be a talk through video, which I know is super weird. But I recently was accepted as part of a new spring campaign for the YesStyle Influencers program, which I know is so exciting, and all I have to do is talk about my favorite YesStyle products for spring. And full disclosure, I will be getting a coupon voucher after this that I can use to buy more products from YesStyle to review from you guys. But this video is not sponsored. All of these products I am talking about in this video that I love so much, I purchased in the past year or even year and a half with my own money. So all of this I love. A lot of these I own multiple shades of, as you probably have heard me talk about by now. So I can definitely say for a fact that I love everything in this video. I do really like being a part of the YesStyle's influencer program so far. I've been treated really well and I really enjoy it, so I do look forward to doing more of their campaigns in the future. I have another campaign coming later. I'm just waiting for the order to come in, and I'll be showcasing some new products for you guys. But for now, I'm just here to talk about my favorites. So this is a Saturday upload, as you guys can see. That is because it's not really a makeup tutorial or a makeup demo, so I'm just keeping it on Saturday. If you guys don't want to watch it because this is kind of part of a YesStyle program, then that's fine. You can go ahead and click away. But if you guys want to hear some recommendations from me, then just keep on watching. So first of all, I'm going to be going by brand, and I only have like 4 or 5 brands to talk about today. But the first one I'm going to talk about is kind of the biggest monster in the room, and you guys know I'm currently in a love affair with Rom&nd. They just can't seem to do any wrong, although their new eyeshadow palettes, a lot of them have pressed glitters, so I cannot get those. I can only get the one with no pressed glitters, but everything else, I feel like they just haven't done a fail for me. So I would first like to start off with their Zero Velvet Tints, and I'll be showing the screenshots of what it looks like kind of over here about. And I have way more colors than just these 3, but I'm just picking these 3 up because they were closest to me. I have so many colors, I couldn't possibly swatch them all just because I basically collect them at this point. I will swatch these 3 on the back of my hand just so you guys can kind of see what they look like, but these are so nice. They have that classic Korean kind of trendy mousse consistency to it, but they are so easy to sheer out, they're so easy to apply, they last not as long as other tints, but they're not as drying because of that, and I find that they wear off really nicely. So I really love these. I especially love applying it as a full lip and then kind of smudging it with my lip liner to create that blurred lip look. That's like my favorite thing to do, as you guys know. So the first shade I'm going to swatch is called Red, and it looks like this. So I'm going to go ahead and apply it to the back of my hand so you can see how it applies. You can see how it's so smooth and so matte. And that's what the color looks like. It's just a really pretty red. The next color I'm going to apply is called Rusk, and this is one of my favorite fall lips for when I want a warm lip that's not orange. As you can see, you can also see the color through the packaging, and some of the limited edition kind of seasonal collections, they even put the color on the lid, so it is just super, super helpful. So again, I'm gonna swatch it right next to the other color. You can see how it has an orange hue to it, but it's not actually super orange. And then finally, I'm going to swatch Icy. I actually really like this shade. It is cool toned, so kind of unconventional. I think Rom&nd does cool tones really well. They have a really large variety of cool tones. I know a lot of other Korean brands like PERIPERA, for instance, in the past, it was all warm and all bright and all orange and stuff. But Rom&nd actually has a really nice selection of cool tone lips for those who like the look. And I've actually come to realize that cool tones actually look surprisingly good on me if they're done correctly, which I think Rom&nd does. So I'm gonna swatch it over here, and as you can see, it is just this really, really pretty pink. That is, as you can see, it has a coolness to it, but without being gray or ashy. It's almost got a little bit of purple or mauve put in, but again, it doesn't come across as ashy on me. So those are the 3 colors I'm swatching for you guys on this hand. And I will have everything linked in the description box if you guys want to do some shopping yourself. I did check to make sure all of these are in stock at the time that I'm filming this video. They are affiliate links, so if you click on them, you can use my rewards code and I'll get a little bit of commission in the form of YesStyle credit that I can use to buy more stuff on YesStyle for you guys. So if you guys want to support my channel by letting me get more products to test out and review for you guys, then just use my links. If not, you can just search on YesStyle yourself, or you can buy on other places. Okay, so the next product is called the Glasting Water Tint, and I'm gonna just pick out 2 for you guys. They have their standard collection of Glasting Water Tints, but then they also have a Hanbok collection they did for New Year in collaboration with the kind of Korean Cultural Center, basically. And they both are permanent. Rom&nd did confirm that the Hanbok collection will continue to be restocked as long as people want it, which is really great. As you can see here, this is the normal packaging is with the color on it, and then the Hanbok collection has the pretty pastel packaging. So it's harder to tell the color of the Hanbok one, but it's so pretty. So I'm gonna go ahead and swatch these for you. I'm gonna first swatch Rose Splash, which is just a really pretty rosy color. I kind of tried my best to wipe the tint off the back of my hand, so I'm gonna kind of try and swatch it like kind of away from that, so you guys can really see the consistency. It's watery, but it still has pigment. And on your lips, once it has settled, it like blurs out all of your lip lines. And it still retains that pigment. Like, you can still build it up to be pretty intense, or you can sheer it out so it almost looks like a really nice gloss. I get a lot of questions asking about comparing these to the Juicy Lasting Tints, which I'll be talking about next, and I feel like these are just so much more glassy in finish. These smooth your lips out like glass. Like, it's hard to explain. You really have to see for yourself. So I'm gonna swatch the Glasting Water Tint from the Hanbok collection. It's in the shade Pumpkin Brown, and I'm gonna go ahead and kind of swatch it right next to it so you can see the comparison. This is more of a rustic orange. You can see how it has that orangish look, almost like rusk. It's really pretty. So these are the 2 shades I'm demonstrating for you guys on my wrist. And you can see as I move it, you can see that glassy finish. I'm gonna go ahead and leave these swatches on my arm, and I'm gonna swatch the Juicy Lasting Tint right next to it. So I'm gonna be swatching 2 Juicy Lasting Tints that are kind of in a similar color. Now these just have a shiny plastic packaging, so you can really tell them apart from the Glasting Water Tints, which have that clear lid. So just to compare, here is the packaging for the Glasting Water Tint, and here's the packaging for the Juicy Lasting Tint. So you can see how they are able to really clearly differentiate on the packaging what kind is what, which I think is really, really handy. So I'm first going to swatch Fig, which is one of their most popular colors, and I'm going to swatch it right below the rose color from earlier. So you can see the difference. They are super similar, so I would say, especially if the colors are similar, you don't necessarily need both formulas. I have different colors in each formula, so that's why I really like it, and I do think on me I can see the difference in finish. The Juicy Lasting Tints also kind of have more of that creamy kind of appearance. Like, it's more of that cream, like I guess like a creamy gloss, so like a pigmented gloss, and the Glasting Water Tint definitely does not look like creamy, if that makes sense. So the next one I'm going to swatch from the Juicy Lasting Tint is Apple Brown, and this is very similar to, this is the, again, that classic warm orange but not really kind of appearance, but you can see it's a lot more intense. So here on the top is the glosses, and on the bottom, I think this way you can really tell how the bottom Juicy Lasting Tints have that more cream appearance to them, and the Glasting Water Tints up top are much more high shine and glassy. So that's those compared. They also do leave a very light stain behind, so over time they do wear off really nicely because they leave behind that minor stain. The next formula I'd like to talk about is from their see-through matte tint line, and these are very similar to the Zero Velvet line. I'd almost say they're almost redundant, but the see-through matte tint line is kind of what it says on the tint. It is not as pigmented, so it's much easier to apply in a more sheer look. Now, the reason I feel like it's almost a little bit redundant sometimes is because if I want a sheer look with a Zero Velvet tint, I just apply less and blot it with my finger. But the see-through matte tint is a lot easier to use. It's a lot more beginner friendly, so much harder to mess up because it is a little bit more sheer in application. So I kind of consider that to be the biggest factor between what you're going to decide if you want the more punchy pigment or if you want that more sheer application. So I'm gonna swatch 2 shades from the Hanbok collection, as these are the only see-through matte tint formulas I own. They do have see-through matte tints in the normal packaging, which I will be showing screenshots of the product details on the screen, and I do kind of want to pick some of them up. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So I'm gonna first swatch Blush Purple. Now this, as the name implies, is super cool toned, and again, I feel like Rom&nd does such great cool tone looks. I'm gonna probably put these on my wrist now. So I have my wrist here. I'm gonna go ahead and you can kind of see what that looks like. It's not super matte, I would say, either. I don't really consider these two very matte. They have a very slight kind of cream satin finish to them. And then the next one I'm going to swatch for you guys is Onion Beige. This is kind of the closest thing they have to like a neutral nude, but it still is very, very warm in tone. So there you go. It's not super beige. I think the name is ever so slightly misleading, and the swatches online make it look a lot more nude than it is, but it's still really flattering. So those are the two that I'm going to swatch. I do have all 4 shades in the Hanbok collection of the see-through matte tint, but I won't swatch them all because then we'd be here all day. Next, I'm going to talk about 2 Rom&nd powder products. I'm going to talk about a single shadow, and I'm going to talk about a highlighter. So first off, the single shadow is from a holiday collection from in 2019. It is called their Universe collection, and this is one of their eyeshadow toppers. It's called Black Hole. You can see the packaging has subtle hollow details that are so pretty, and this is what the actual shadow looks like. It's that classic brown to blue duochrome, but because it's in a Korean formulation, it is meant to be a topper. You can see here how it has that pearlized glittery effect. There are no big chunky glitters in this formula though, so it looks really nice. And I'm going to kind of rub it onto my hand. I'm trying to get the camera to focus. There it is. And there are 4 eyeshadows in that collection of varying colors. Some of them are duochrome, some of them are just very, very sparkly. The next powder product I want to talk to you guys about are these 2 highlighters. These are also from the Hanbok collection. They're called Veil Lighters. I have both colors here and I'm going to swatch them both for you guys. Now, Rom&nd highlighters are not the same as Western highlighters. They're so much more subtle and so much more smoothing, and they're really, really pretty. They're in the shade, there's like one shade named after a moon and one shade named after a sun, and they just have that effect of the light from the sun or the moon catching on your skin. That's the effect they give off. It is so pretty and so unique. So the first one is a little more of that lavender to kind of lavender purple hue. It's really pretty. And here it is swatched kind of on the top of my hand right here. You can see how nice and subtle it is on the skin. And then the next one is kind of the sun themed one, so it's a little more warm. Now it looks like it would be too deep on the skin, but because of the way it applies so sheer, it actually looks perfect. So, and I will swatch that one below it so you can kind of see the difference between the two. So I'm like having the hardest time ever getting these to show up on camera. So I swatched them on the side of my hand instead, hoping that they'll show up better. So okay, so here you can see that the moon one is on this side is the moon one, and then on this side is the sun one. And I like swatching highlighters on the wrinkles of my palm because I feel like you really can see what it looks like. So that finishes up the Rom&nd section, which was a lot of products. Now I'm going to move on to Face Shop, and there's just one product in Face Shop, and that is their pastel cushion blushers. Now, contrary to the name, these are actually powders. They're just very, very creamy. These are not cushion like liquid blushes or anything. And I don't know if this color is still in stock, but I can definitely vouch for the formula overall being absolutely fantastic. So the color I have is Ginger Beige, and I really like this because it's the perfect kind of blush bronzer kind of combination, but without being overly warm, which is why I don't really use Western like colors of like blush bronzer. So I'm gonna swatch it for you guys. It has very light pigmentation, so it's really, really subtle. You can kind of see right here. That's the color. Just really soft, really pretty. It's great for that watercolor blush look because it blends out so softly. When you buy it, it comes with a little kind of puff thing similar to the Etude House cookie blushers. I took mine and just tossed it because I'm never going to use it. Okay, so next I'm going to talk about some tools. And these are both from Pony Effect. So the first one I'm going to talk about, you saw me use, I'm going to be using in the upcoming video. I use this to apply the foundation on my face right now. And it is their Pony Effect Dough Puff. This is such a good puff, you guys. I initially bought this thinking I'm going to use it when my old cushion puffs kind of go bad, but honestly this is great to use for any liquid foundation and any liquid concealer, and you can even use it to pat out your cream products or your cream concealer. So this is like who even needs to wet a sponge anymore? Just use this, and if you want that moisture, just spray it with a setting spray. This blends out your foundation so well. Like, I need to wash mine. Like, it's so good, and it comes in a set of 2, and it's so inexpensive. I really just honestly couldn't recommend these enough. These are so good. I have her mini brush kit right here. It contains these 5 brushes that you see here. The handles are short because it's a mini set, but these are like, as far as synthetics go, these are like the best synthetics ever. They are so soft, but they hold onto pigment really well like a natural hair does. And like, you know, I've mentioned before how my face gets so irritated by scratchy brushes, so I have to use the softest brushes for my face. But these work really, really well for my face. They don't itch me at all. They seem expensive at first, but when you break it down per brush, it's really not that bad per brush, and you get all 5 of these, and they're just so great. I wish I could buy more, but I have enough brushes, so you know, I don't. But you get this really big powder brush. I like this for my blush. It's really great. This is good for setting powder, but it's also good for any other face product. And then you get these 3 eye brushes. And they are just your 3 basic shapes. Like, you could create a full look with this whole set. So I really like this. It also comes with a little kind of brush roll that's like gold and similar color to the handles, but I don't have mine anymore. I tossed it since I never used those. But yeah, these are really good. Pony Effect makes really good tools. Okay, I'm gonna move on now to the next products that just have 1 in each category. So that's 2 brands, and then I'm gonna do PERIPERA last. So the next one I'm gonna be talking about is from CLIO, and my favorite thing ever from them are their So Sharp, So Simple waterproof pencil liners. These are so good. These are like the Urban Decay 24/7 ones, but in a nice, simple, retractable form, so you don't have to sharpen them. They're so much cheaper too. Like, I only ever get my 24/7s on sale during 21 Days of Beauty, but they aren't always on sale, and like the colors aren't always in stock, and they keep discontinuing colors. These are really, really good. And I've had these for over a year now, and they still haven't dried out. Like, I tried the ColourPop ones and they were okay, but they dried out in like a month. Like, I don't even understand how that happened. So I only have 2 colors here, and I really, really need to pick up the others because I need like a true brown pencil liner, and this one right here, the maroon brown, is more red. But I'll go ahead and swatch them for you guys so you can see just how nice they are. I'll swatch it on my hand here so you can see how nice it looks. Like, there. And it's such a pretty color. I really love using this maroon brown for my inner corner waterline trick. And then this brown eyeliner is just so, so good. I can tightline with this. I can put this in my waterline. It doesn't budge either. And it's just so creamy and nice. So here, I'll show you the black one. And it's black. It's so black. So yeah, these are really good liners. I highly recommend these. And lastly is a product I do not have because I need to get a new one. My old one ran out and then also dried up a little bit, and that is the HEROINE Make Volume and Curl Super Waterproof Mascara. This, like, I'm sure you've seen it on Reddit before whenever people are discussing mascara for Asian lashes that are straight and wimpy and they need to like hold the curl and stuff. It is such a good mascara, and I'm actually going to be buying a replacement very, very soon. I just keep forgetting to, but it is on YesStyle, as you can see. The screenshot is here, and you guys can totally get it on YesStyle or Amazon, but I get mine usually off YesStyle if I'm making part of like a bigger order or something. It is so good. Like, it adds so much volume, and I swear it is apocalypse proof. It wouldn't come off even if you were like in like 100% humidity or something really wild like that. Like, I've worn it in 90-degree Fahrenheit weather and the humidity was like 89% and it stayed on all day. It didn't go anywhere. And it's not as hard to remove as the Etude House Lash Perm Curl Fix. That takes forever and a half to remove. This actually comes off after a few minutes. Like, it's not, as far as waterproof goes, it's actually not that difficult to remove, and they sell their own remover as well, which I've heard works really effectively. So if you're looking for a mascara like that, definitely give HEROINE Make Volume and Curl Super Waterproof a try. Make sure it says super waterproof. The normal waterproof kind, I find, doesn't make my lashes look volume or lengthened. It just kind of is like, meh, it's here, whatever. The super waterproof one is the best. Okay, and lastly of all, I'm gonna go over my products from PERIPERA that I like so much. So the first product I'm gonna go over is the Ink V shading. I have it in the shade Hazel Gray. The shade 2 would work better if you were closer to like number 25 or number 27 in Korean foundation shades. It's too warm, too dark for me. And the 3 Hazel Gray works really well as a true contour, and the shade number 1, which I don't have but kind of would like to acquire, is more of like that hybrid between contour and bronzer. So as you can see here, it is shaped like a V, hence the name, because what they are basically saying is that for those who mix colors, you're going to be using more of the middle one, so you always hit pan on this one first so they have less of the other 2. So I like to use this shade to contour my nose, and then I mix these 2 for the perimeters of my face, and I find it works really well that way. So here is a swatch on my hand. You can see right here on the heel of my hand that it's a very, very subtle color, very cool toned. It almost reminds me of amber, but it still has a little more warmth to it. Next, I'm going to be talking about these PERIPERA ink tint serums. These are pretty recently released, and I think these are so good. They reformulated their ink velvet tints, and I don't like them anymore, unfortunately, but these tint serums, these remind me of the Glasting water tints. They're really good, but they're a little more sheer. And PERIPERA tends to do different colors. They have a bit of a different color sensibility than Rom&nd, so even if the formula is similar, I still find it worth getting shades from both, because oftentimes I'll find that Rom&nd releases shades in this kind of preference and PERIPERA has a different preference, and I can kind of get a nice mix of shades from both. So one thing about PERIPERA is their shades tend to be a little bit more intense, a little bit more bright. So I'm gonna swatch the first shade called Yes or Red, and these are gonna go probably on my wrist again. So you can see that the applicator is a little bit more kind of flat and slanted. It's a good applicator. Here, you can see it's a very bright red. Very pretty. And then the next shade I'm going to swatch is this really nice purple shade called Raspberry. And PERIPERA used to not really ever do anything purple or cool, but they kind of have started to branch out into that, so I thought it would be worth it to try this shade. And it's a lot more mauve-y, so definitely kind of out of their comfort zone, which I really appreciate. And it looks like this, and you can see it has a lot more coolness to it. Those are the only two shades I own from them. I would like to get more, but I just kind of never got around to it. I only get a few shades at first, and if I like the formula, I'll add it to my wish list, but that doesn't necessarily mean I always remember to actually get more, because I get really lazy and I just forget. Next, I'm going to talk about their ink matte blur tints and also their ink stick serums. So they came out with the stick version of their serums, which is in this really, really beautiful clear plastic packaging. And again, I only have two shades. I do want to get more, but I kind of want them to release more shades first, because these were the only two shades that really spoke to me. So the first shade is number 3, called Living Red. I know I have like a thing for their reds. I feel like PERIPERA has really nice bright reds, and I'm gonna go ahead and swatch it on the back of my hand. They're really intense in pigmentation, but they have a very glossy finish to them while still being in a convenient lipstick form. It's semi-sheer, but it is very buildable. And the next shade I'm gonna swatch is called Brick Title. This is like that classic brick red that I personally love so much, and it has a hint of warmth to it too, so it's a little, just the tiniest bit of orange. So it's kind of like that brown lip, but the Korean way, which I think it looks so much better on me. So these are the two shades right here, and you can see how glossy they are. And then finally, the ink matte blur tints. Oh my gosh, I love these. These are like the Zero Velvet tints, but like punch of pigment. Just total complete pigment, just overload. Like if you want the most pigmented matte tints ever, then use these. And they are so spreadable. They're much moussier than the Zero Velvet ones, very thick, very whipped. It's just, and it totally blurs your lips. Like no matter how dry my lips are, I can put it on and it just makes all of my lip lines disappear. It's so, so cool. And I actually own almost all of their shades, and so as usual, I'm just gonna swatch a few. And the reason I'm swatching them last is because they're so pigmented, they're never gonna come off, so I definitely wanted to swatch them last. I'm gonna swatch Goddess Beige and True Red Brick for you guys. So this is what the packaging looks like. I know PERIPERA sometimes gets criticized for having super kiddie packaging, but I mean, the packaging doesn't bother me one way or another. You can see the colors, the frosted plastic, you can actually see the colors. So I'm first going to swatch Goddess Beige. Now this is actually like a really great beige lip color. So I use this as a base for gradients, or if I want a lighter nudie toned shade for me, then I'll wear it on its own. But this is actually a true beige, which is kind of uncommon in the Korean lip world, I know. And you can see this is what it looks like. Has very little orange to it, so it looks really nice. And then I'm going to swatch I said earlier, True Red Brick. This is a very, very deep, intense red. I love it for when I want that bold, intense red lip. I'm gonna swatch it kind of right below. You can see just how deep and intense it is. And these are very, very, very matte, so I love these. Alright, so that's it for the video. That is all of the favorite YesStyle products that I have bought recently that are still in stock and that I love. And as I said earlier, these were all purchased with my own money. I spent my own money on these, and I really love these, and as you can see, I own many shades of many of these products, so that is why I really wanted to share them with you guys. As I mentioned earlier, I do get a gift voucher from YesStyle for making this video that I can use specifically to buy more YesStyle products, and then I can review them for you guys again or demonstrate them for you guys again. So just a full disclosure on that. I will put all the products in the description box down below. below, and I will have affiliate reward links for those as well. You can use my code, which I'll put up here. You can use my code to save a little bit of money at checkout, and again, I do get YesStyle credit for that. I don't get like real money in the bank or anything. I only get YesStyle credit. They changed that, which is like, whatever. So whatever you guys get using that code will allow me to kind of make more YesStyle purchases. So if you guys have any K-beauty or J-beauty that you want me to try off of YesStyle, just leave a comment, and if I have the credits to do so, I will see if I can get it and try it out for you guys. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this really simple video of some of my favorite K-beauty products that I have bought in the past year or so, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!